Hello, friends, and welcome here to the Plays NA Weekly number 3. I'm Solid Jake, joined here with Jorosar. Welcome, welcome.
Hey everyone, good evening to you. I have been, to be honest, I've been pretty busy. I've spent most of the last 6 hours in a car, so it kind of feels nice to get out of a car. I'm still sat here with my post-drive wake-up latte, and we're here for the Plays NA Weekly number 3. And we're hopping straight in. I actually am quite thankful we're hopping into a game featuring a team I've actually previously cast. I did not know that UTM stood for You're Tilting Me until now, but I know them as Team UTM. And I know them especially because Bunna, I remember, I think was it either off a YouTube video or off a cast, but he said, I'm really sick of people calling me Bunny. Thank you for actually pronouncing my name right. And that's how I got to know who they were. And I was like, oh, okay. These are the guys we're talking about. So that's cool. My little story there. How are you, man?
I'm good, and you know, actually, some of these guys I know as well. I actually know the opposite side. Primal, Forest, Lego Math, they come from the Heroes community. So I'm excited to see how this all pans out. You know, the moment that the bracket was created, I actually got yelled at by Forest. He's saying, hey man, why'd you give us the hardest bracket? So maybe they're a little worried about UTM in this matchup.
Oh, wow. Well, that's certainly a very interesting bit of insight there. They're actually moving out, getting ready to defend now. But I think the first question that's worth asking, Jake, these guys come from the Heroes community. Unlike other first-person shooters, how much does Heroes of the Storm and Overwatch really have in common? How transferable are your skills here?
I actually think for a lot of the roles, especially like support and tank, it's quite transferable, especially when you consider a lot of it's about teamwork, initiating, and then lining up your, in this case, ultimate abilities. For Heroes of the Storm, it would be heroics. But yeah, there's definitely, you know, a good set of skill transfer. But when it comes to actually just being like the top level Slayer, like Assassin, that kind of twitch reflex doesn't come from a MOBA, that's for sure.
Okay. All right. Well, it'll be interesting to see how this ends up translating. Primal now moving out of the gate. Forest, actually, or Forest, rather, sneaking off behind, trying to catch his opponents unaware. Managing to pick a couple of shots off in Reinhardt's direction, but no easy picks like he was looking for. Probably hoping for a support, maybe a Genji or some squishy hero like that out and about. But at the moment, UTM giving them plenty of room.
Yeah, the first point will be captured rather quickly. I mean, that's not too much of a surprise. It's so hard to defend the first point. Really just seeing UTM waiting for that second checkpoint, as there's much more places for them to attack, and the choke point is a lot more difficult for the attacking side.
It's also really important to note the time it actually takes for these players to go and reset as well. If you try and hold the first checkpoint and a couple of your team die and you're defending, it takes you forever to walk back to join the rest of your team. Whereas for the attacking team, of course, you spawn basically right next to where you died, so things become a heck of a lot easier. Raytech is actually doing a great job just providing covering fire at the moment, making sure that Genji and Roadhog do not actually cause his team too many problems. So it's nice to see him there, allowing Primal basically to stay back, because he can't actually go in and flank right now.
Yeah, well, you know, so far they've had a pretty strong defense here. Many of the ultimates are ready. It looks like on the defense side, they've got Bunna with the res, Chubbs has the barrage, and then, of course, Dota Genius here on the Roadhog looking for that money hook, but he also has his ultimate ready. Forest will get picked off just moments ago by Chubb.
Yeah, that was very, very nice, because Forest is one of the main... Basically, Forest and Crash are the two main damage dealers on this team right now. So if either Soldier 76 or Farah go down, it's really difficult for the rest of the team to just push in unless they can concentrate so much firepower in one place that they can push through. I'm thinking maybe, for example, if Roadhog has Whole Hog. Otherwise, they really do just have to sit in one place and patiently wait. And now we see Crash moving into the server room. It looks like we're going to try a flank here from Primal, but wow, Farah's got their number.
Yeah, Crash doing some good damage. They'll manage to take out the turret, so that's a small victory for them here. They'll actually have Roadhog going up through the server room over onto the top ledge, seeing if they can get some kind of flank to happen here. Once again, chunking through the turret of Torbjorn, but they just can't seem to get any kind of footing. They step forward, they do these flanks, but they get very little return when they make these plays.
Yeah, this is, they need to be switching something up here to make the other checkpoint. It's not very urgent just yet. You still have 4.5 minutes to capture it after all, but it is going to be pretty clear that something needs to change. Raytech now taking out Forest, and your Tilting Me has just been doing such a fantastic job of being very patient and staying back. I think that's the key thing. So Raytech, as soon as he's got a pick off, you can see him moving straight back into the top there. Cody not afraid to sort of sit back and wait for people to attack the turret. He's giving armor to the rest of his team as well. Basically, if you like, a heightened version of Symmetra Shield right now from Torbjorn. And these guys are doing a really nice, really patient job.
Yeah, it looks like on the offense side, we see Primal just trying to build up some kind of meter. We have Soldier 76 almost there with the Tactical Visor. All the other ults are just about ready, just the Winston lacking his ultimate ability at this point in time. If we can get a big flank here with the Tactical Visor from Crash, this could be the push that they need. The high ground is making it troublesome, though, because of the shield there from the Reinhardt.
That's right, and they keep individually getting picked off as well. So Gajiro won't have sound barrier available. He's just died. Hyacinth is the only person on the team not to have an ultimate available as Winston yet. And Primal Rage is just such a great initiator because it takes forever for people to actually kill you, and you can jump up and disrupt their backline. But without that, they just need to avoid getting picked. 5 ultimates is more than enough to take a good fight if they're good. And here we go. Crash with the visor straight away. Managing to pick 2 people off, but Raytech also using his ultimate, and crucially, no one is attacking Raytech right now. He is more or less going unabated. Have I just cast a curse him? No, Hyson is actually going down. Very, very nicely played.
Yeah, a big res there, though, keeps the push alive for the time being. Crash able to try to get a little bit of damage out, but again, that Tactical Visor didn't do the damage they needed prior. The hook just kind of securing his death on the side there from Dota Genius. Great defense so far. And only 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining for this attempt at the second checkpoint.
Hyson was really close to doing what I just described he needed to do on Winston, though. Raytech had his Tactical Visor up, and Hyson, I think, came within 40 hit points of killing Raytech. If he had done that, the back line for UTM would have been so awkward, but Raytech just managed to get his Bionic Field down, and while he was being healed, he took out Hyson. So I actually think that ended up being really crucial, because otherwise the res would have meant that Primal might have been able to push through.
Yeah, very true. Well, we're seeing that they're trying to go on from the top flank at this point in time. Maybe going through the server room. Yes, they're speed boosting into the server room quickly. Forest getting a bit of damage forced onto the Roadhog. Going for the turret immediately, just trying to get that out of the artillery from the defensive side here from UTM. But still, they don't have the heroics that they need at this point. They need to build up a little bit more meter before they can actually commit to the payload.
Yeah, it's two ultimates plays 3 at the moment, relatively even. Cody gets taken out, so there's going to be 1 less defense point here for UTM, and the turret's actually gone down as well. Crucially, we have control of the high ground there with is that Drakon, pardon me, on Reinhardt, and we actually have Gajiro offering support from above. This is really important because the entire team down below is benefiting now from the healing, and I think that is going to allow them to push the payload here.
Yeah, right, Tech got a lot of damage done there, but he is quite secluded right now. The payload finally getting some progress, going down. Winston will force Raytech away. Cody's going to try to step on the point with his Torbjorn. His life will be short-lived, and this payload should be making it to the checkpoint, but the res is coming at the last moment with the break it down on the offense, sustaining through all the damage of Farah's Justice.
This is a risky move because they're either going to look really smart or really, really dumb in just a second. UTM basically sacrificing Torbjorn and then using their res to gamble and take this out before the payload actually gets to its destination. They had the option to go back to the shuttle room and just be patient. It looks like the gamble is going to pay off here, but that, make no mistake, that was actually a really, really risky pay. If it didn't take off, they'd have fewer ultimates available to defend in the shuttle room.
Yeah, and after a fight like that, did you see the amount of armor packs and scrap that was on the ground? I mean, the value of Torbjorn isn't just the turret, isn't just the split position he can have, but it's also just the armor that he can provide, especially after a team fight win like that. This just makes it so that the next fight coming up is going to be even more difficult because of the armor that exists on the entire team.
Very, very true. The armor as well is just more than the shields that Symmetra would provide, for example. You can constantly keep churning them out. It's really useful to be able to have them in one place. But for now, we have the last gasp effort coming in from Primal. A full rocket barrage coming in from Forest, actually. Picks off 2 on its own. Ender here desperately trying to stay on the point. He's got quite a lot of hit points, admittedly, as Reinhardt. And he gets rezzed as well. Rez coming up from both sides. And oh no! We actually have the Earthshatter come down in the middle of the Mercy Rez animation. So of course that means absolutely nothing in terms of stun, but Chibisu doing an awful lot of damage with her own rocket barrage, and this is actually quite a lot, unfortunately offset by sound barrier right now. This is a pretty good indication for Primal to try and take the payload, but just not quite enough at the end of the day.
Yeah, it was close. They had a few opportunities where it looked like they were going to have it, but at the end of the day, the resurrections there from Bunna were a little bit too much to keep the team alive, and Cody stalling out at that one point earlier when it looked like they finally had the checkpoint. Well played on the side of UTM. Cody even getting the play of the game with his Torbjorn.
Is this going to be him dead in the turret killing 3? Hashtag Tor play of the game. We all know they're like the Bastion, but actually, damn, this is pretty good. Let's not joke, boys. Pretty slick. No turrets involved.
That's the dream, man, to actually get a Torbjorn play of the game where it's not just your turret mowing down the enemy team. It's an uncommon thing, but it can happen.
It definitely can. And I think the highlight, well, I guess the critical part of that half for me would be the point where we actually saw UTM go for the res, sort of coming out just before the end of the point. Primal looked like they were about to push the payload all the way to point number 2, and UTM went, hang on a second, we're going to rush out. You saw Torbjorn get sacrificed, and then we had a massive res and a huge team fight. And I was questioning it at the time, and I think maybe it's something to do with their confidence against this team. Maybe they've scrimmed together before and they were confident they could win that team fight. Because, like I said, if the res doesn't work, and in that situation Primal are able to push through, they're basically giving up the shuttle as well. I mean, not quite, but you have no res available for if a team fight goes wrong. So you're staking a lot on that. And admittedly, UTM won it, but if they hadn't, they would have looked a bit silly.
Well, we'll have to see if they can put on that ultimate defense and deny that first point from, or the second point from even being taken here. It's going to be an uphill climb, that's for sure, on the side of Primal in this matchup. They'll be swapping sides. Let's get that corrected. And you're tilting me now on the offense.
All right, so you're tilting me. Well, we're not going to get their final team comp just yet. We'll just wait and see what happens. In the meantime, let's take a look at what Primal are doing here. We have Hyson on Soldier 76. Thrakon, previously on Reinhardt, if you recall, is now actually playing D.Va defending here on Watchpoint Gibraltar. So very keen to see what D.Va does there. Crash on Genji. Lego Map is going to be on Mercy, and the European in me is going, it's Mats with an S. But we'll rage about that later, I suppose. Forrest is once again going to be playing Pharah, and he was very, very effective in that previous game. And Gojiro this time around is going to be on Winston. So note, no Widowmaker on this side, but Raytech seems pretty keen on one on the side of UTM.
Alrighty. Well, it looks like we do have that Widowmaker going out of the gates hot right now. Like you said, Thrak's going to be on that D.Va, so that's not really the primary target, but there's a lot of squishy starts in the back. Notably, that Pharah is currently being hunted, the full-on shot put life of Raytech, looking for those birds to shoot down.
All right, and I'm watching Gojiro right now because if Widowmaker gets a couple of kills, it's kind of Gojiro's job to put his bubble down to prevent the sniper from actually picking off any of his friends, and then to jump in and try and disrupt. He's unfortunately gone down at the moment, but that said, Raytech hasn't exactly got 7 kills in his kill feed yet either, so both teams are right now being rather cagey together.
All right, Crash desperately trying to stay alive as Genji cannot live through the onslaught of Reinhardt with his axe, just chunking through his hit points. And they actually have to be careful here because in the backside, well, no, this might actually just be it. Do they have what it takes to defend? Winston's going to have to dive on the point. He gets hooked in immediately. That's really their stay power with the Winston. His bubble's already been cast, not even on the payload. We do see the tactical visor being cast here as well, but getting 0 value whatsoever. And it's looking like this might be game number 1. Res of Desperation once more. They're breaking it down here for the offense just to keep the push going. We see Ender here going to be using that Earth Shatter, more or less trying to secure this. D.Va will end up falling, and that's it.
That was very, very fast indeed. And Bunna using his res at the end as well, basically to say, by the way, I had this in the bag if I wanted to. That's going to be GG. And UTM are going to be able to take Watchpoint Gibraltar away here from Primal. Let's go.